Today is Friday, October the 16th. I am your host, KC Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. Before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. If you are on social media, Twitter or Instagram, KIRWKC, Facebook.com/KIRWKC. If you are watching this on YouTube or Dailymotion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, followed by the notification bell. That will let you know when I upload new videos. All right. I don't know. I have lemon water again today. All right. I don't know exactly how I want to approach this. I'm not sure yet. Happily ever after. Happily ever after. I was doing my best to find out who originally wrote that. And then I was getting different variations of, one was in some type of book, but they didn't say happily ever after. It was like they were happy and then something ever or whatever. I was just like, okay, this isn't coming together. And maybe because I was doing a light search instead of an in-depth search. But the reason I thought about happily ever after was because, you know me, I'm always watching my tarot card readings and stuff. And one of the readers that I was watching, she brought that up. She was saying, you know, you'll go on off to your happily ever after. And I started thinking, I'm like, well, what is happily ever after? Because I don't know if everyone knows what their happily ever after is. I believe, and this is just my humble opinion, I believe that there's a group of people who honestly don't know what their happily ever after is. They just don't know. I believe there's another group of people who don't believe it's possible to have a happily ever after, whatever it is that they want. And then I believe there's another group of people whose happily ever after changes. Because, like I said before, as our lives change, so do our needs. So I feel like, one, they don't know what it is. The other one, they don't believe it's possible. And then the other group it's like it was this 1 week, but then a few months later is something else. What they saw themselves doing. And you know what? There might even be a fourth group. And I feel like I might be in this group where it doesn't, because happily ever after is the ending. And it's almost where you've checked everything off the list, whatever your list is, if you know what your happily ever after is, and then it's almost like you stop. You're just, I guess, on cruise control to a certain degree. I mean, obviously, life will do what it does and can change the speeds from time to time. But for the most part, it's almost like you're on cruise control, where you've accomplished everything you wanted. You got whatever you thought the happily ever after is, but then there isn't a next level because you've already reached the highest level. It's almost like when I bring up video games, because I like video games, which, by the way, I was right for those who watched my Keeping It Real with KC, which, for, again, reminder, I'm only doing one episode this weekend for Keeping It Real with KC, so that's just another reminder. But on the Keeping It Real with KC episode, when I brought up Xbox, those Xboxes have been selling out everywhere. Like, nobody has been able to get, and also PS5 has been selling out too, but definitely Xbox has been selling out. People thought Xbox wasn't going to sell. I told you guys that I had a feeling. My intuition was, my radar was going off. My antenna was going off. And I told you that they were going to do well, because there were people that were like, oh, it's not going to be that popular, and also their presentation wasn't that good, and yada yada yada. But now you can't find an Xbox anywhere. So the S and the X. So yeah, sites crashing, all types of stuff. But I digress. It's like a video game where you've beat it. So with the happily ever after is what I'm talking about. Where there isn't anywhere else to go. Just like with God of War. All right, I beat part 1. I can't play part 1 again. It's beat. I mean, I could, but you know what I'm saying. There isn't, after you beat the game, there isn't anywhere else to go. It's over. The game's over. So with happily ever after, and I think I'm in this fourth category, for some people, they can't ever really have a true happily ever after because the game is never over for them, because they always want more. Enough is never enough. It's like, okay, well, I've accomplished this. Let me go ahead and accomplish this. And it's like, I've done that. Let me do that. All right, I got the spouse, I got the kids, I got the house, I got the cars. All right, let me see if I can start a new company in this industry. All right, that company's doing well. Let me go ahead and see if I can start a company in this industry. All right, that's doing well. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do that. There are people like that I don't think they or me will possibly ever have a happily ever after. And I think that's why I decided to do this for my daily thought. I feel like this is more of a therapy session for me, because I don't know. I can't say that I wouldn't be happy. Anytime I accomplish something, just like, I'll give you an example. With my listenership going up on my podcast, that's an accomplishment for me. I'm happy about that. But would I just stop where, okay, my listenership's already went up, let me just go on cruise control now and not try to push it even higher? No, I'm not happy. I'll never be happy, in the sense of, let me rephrase, I'll never be satisfied with what comes back. I'll be happy with the results if I see improvement, but I'll never be satisfied, because if it goes up 10%, I want it to go up 20% next time, and then I want it to go up 25% next time, and so on and so forth. So I guess people in that fourth category, I don't think that they will truly ever have a happily ever after. I think there will be moments of happiness, but ever after where it's just like, oh, well, time for me to retire. I've accomplished everything I've wanted to accomplish. I don't see that for myself. I don't want that. I want to keep going. I want to keep going forever and ever. That's just me. But with the other people, one group where they don't know what their happily ever after is. They don't know what it is. They don't know where to start. And if they don't know what their happily ever after is, or if you're listening to this or watching this, if you don't know what your happily ever after is, you will more than likely not find it. Because it's like trying to navigation. You're driving to a building, but you don't know the address. You're trying to get to a building, but you don't know the address. So, yeah, I think some people, the people who don't know what their happily ever after is, they have to know what their personality is. Just like I was explaining earlier. For me, when I sit down and analyze my personality, I've determined that I'll probably never get a happily ever after, because I won't stop. I don't plan to stop going, universe willing, because the heart wants what it wants, and hopefully the universe will hear. But if the universe has other plans, sometimes it is what it is. But I would rather keep going, rather keep trying to build things and accomplish goals. But for those who are open to a happily ever after, where they just want to hang up their cape and they're like, okay, I've saved enough lives, I've done enough this, I've done enough that, they need to figure out what their happily ever after is first. Because when they hang up their cape, they're not gonna know if they've done all they can do. If that makes sense. It's like, if you don't know where your happily ever after is, how do you know that you've accomplished everything in life that you should have or could have accomplished if you don't know where it is? So, and then for the other people that I mentioned that are just scared to pursue a happily ever after, not that they have a problem with stopping after beating the game. It's just they're scared they won't make it through the levels, so they just go with the waves of life and don't pursue anything because they're afraid of going after the happily ever after and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really gonna have to think about this. I really, really am. When it comes to a happily ever after. Let me say it like this. If I were like, you know what, I'd hang up the cape, then I would have to have all the material stuff out the way. Because I like nice things. I just do. And I don't apologize for that. And neither should you. Never apologize for liking nice things. It is what it is. But I'd have to have all the material accomplishments out the way. And then a family, and by family I mean my own, spouse and kids. That would be nice. The ability to, which I kind of have that now, but the ability to, if I want to up and go somewhere, I can do it. But of course, you got to drag the kids along too. So yeah. What else? Obviously, great health to be healthy, physically fit, and remain so. I like to be like, there's this one lady, she's a tarot card reading. Her name is Anne. I forgot what her channel is. It's Anne or something. And she does yoga she's a yoga instructor and a whole bunch of other stuff. And she's 68 years old. And when I tell you she looks like she's 40 something, she's vegan and everything. And she's very dramatic. And when she does her tarot card readings, she has a fan going like, you know how Mariah Carey does and Beyonce does and all of them, when they're on stage, they have the fan blowing so their hair is doing the thing. That's what she does with her tarot card readings. She has the fan going so her hair is going, and she's very dramatic when she reads her stuff. But, again, I digress. She's in shape, and she's doing well for her age, for someone who's 68 years old. And that would also, I would like, if I had to have a happily ever after, if I were to go for a happily ever after, that it would entail that as well. Being healthy at an older age, looking good at an older age. Yes, I'm vain. What else would be part of my happily ever after? Doing something where I've put enough contributions out in the world where it's bearing fruit and helping others. So that would have to be in line too of my happily ever after. And I think that would mostly be it if I were to do or go the happily ever after route. I think those would be sort of the things where I'm like, okay, I have it all. You know, the health, the material stuff I wanted, the kids, the spouse, everything's just is cool. Things are out helping the world. Contributions are helping the world. That would probably be my happily ever after if I didn't want more. Or if I were open to stopping once, I guess, the game is beat to a certain degree. I'd rather, or let me rephrase, or yeah, stopping once the game is beat. But in my case, I'm playing my own game. And because I'm playing my own game, it's the levels don't stop. The levels don't stop. It isn't like after level 25, all right, that's it, you beat the game. This is infinity. So, but yeah, if I wasn't on the mindset I was on, and this could change, because as I always say, as our lives change, so do our needs. I could change a year from now and be like, you know what? I really have put out enough energy into the universe and done so many things and accomplished so many things. Let me go ahead and hang up the cape. I seriously doubt that will happen, but it's a possibility. I won't rule it out. But yeah, it's just interesting. And when it comes to happily ever after, the things that I named, if I were to go for a happily ever after, may not be the things that you name. You may not care about material stuff. You may just be like, hey, all I want is good health, a great family, healthy kids, healthy spouse. Or your happily ever after might be you don't want a spouse at all. Your happily ever after might be jet setting around the world, partying it up, sipping tea, and doing whatever in different countries every month. And do that until the end. That could be your happily ever after. But it's just the point of knowing what your happily ever after is. And for those who are scared to go for their happily ever after, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The worst thing that could happen is you fail. And the good thing about failure is that if you're still alive, you can try again. And again. And again. And again. If you're still alive. Failure is not that serious. When you see people who are successful, one thing that is always a common trait among all of them is consistency. And consistency and persistence. Because it's a numbers game, as I mentioned before. So don't let fear of failure of obtaining your happily ever after keep you from even indulging in the idea of having a happily ever after. Where you're like, I'm not even going to think about it. It's not worth my time. It wouldn't hurt. It's okay to dream. That's why we're able to do it. So that's what I have. Anyways, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that other jazzy stuff. And if you want to send a message about what your happily ever after is, KIRWKC on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook.com/KIRWKC, on YouTube or Daily Motion. Subscribe button followed by notification bell. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. Thank you to everyone who has continued to listen to me and who has continued to support me. It always means a lot to me, and I'm going to keep giving you guys more and more and more of me. So, as I told you before a few days ago, there will be other things coming up where I'm pivoting on the subjects I talk about in sort of drifting out of the emotional waters and going into financial waters and health waters and things like that, because finances, health, and everything else is it's a big deal. It makes life easier when when finances are in order and when health is in order. It makes life a whole lot easier. But anyways, I need to get going. My chicken's boiling, which I'm happy about that, but I also have to cut up the stuff for my salad, which, by the way, I found out before I go, I know this is so random. I found out today Whole Foods has no salt turkey. I did not know that. So I was online when I was ordering today or no, yesterday. Was that delivered today or was it delivered yesterday? No, it had to be yesterday because the garlic was already on the refrigerator. So yeah, it was yesterday. When I ordered yesterday, I was just going through because I like to get low sodium stuff. And I found out they had no salt turkey. And I was like, why didn't anybody tell me about this? You learn something new every day. So yeah, I ordered it and actually tasted it today, and it is so good. It's $10 a pound, but it's good. So, just a little random story. Anyway, let me go ahead and get going. I love you guys. Until next time, be blessed.